Beep, beep, beep. Jester special. I like these. You know I do. Become a warrior teacher. Subscribe as a Jester. For God's sake, help me out. I can't get any of this into fruition until I get much more successful at what I'm doing. Come and be a warrior teacher. We're having a great time. New start in January. Right. Genspect. Okay, let's talk about Genspect. Okay, which is the organisation that has come in for a lot of flack recently. The vast majority of which is not warranted. It's that simple. All right, okay. So I've done a Substack to go with this. In the Dubris, go and have a look. So you can read the Substack if you want to sort of get a rough idea of what I put down in this very quick sort of statement. But I thought I'd have a look at something particular in the framework that Genspect has kindly provided us with for how they think we move forward. Bear in mind, this framework is a draft. Right, so they're saying, let's talk. Good. I'm talking. Hey, Stella. Time for a conversation, right? We're all in this together. This is not a collective. We don't all go, yeah, we all agreed to abide by. This is a collaboration. So when Stella and the crew all go, right, here's this, have a look at this. Because lots of people have done great work on this. They've given it to me and got, not me, but they've given it to us and they've gone, go on, have a look. It's a draft, right? So I've got some observations for you folks. And then I'll go into the bit that I've looked at in more detail, right? This is meant for the layperson, that's what it says. No layperson is going to read 345 bloody pages, right? Right, from the point of view of someone like myself who I've been through it, there's lots of information in there, loads of stuff I disagree with. You're missing an awful amount of the history, right? And you've got to get that right because you can't underestimate what the Beaumont Society had to do with this, or Press for Bloody Change and Stephen Dan Whittle, right? So there's that. Start off with, right? So I've got loads of things I want to talk about, but I thought it's all very good me sitting here, spitting like some Benzedrine puff at her, right? But it's not. I need to do something specific, so I've come up with something specific, right? The good people at Genspect are providing this. They want a conversation. We're going to have one, right? Let's get started, okay? So we can talk to each other and think about where we are. So I thought I'd lay my cards on the table about a few things and see, if anybody's thinks I'm nuts or anybody thinks they agree with me. And you can tell me in the comments. I'm going to put it on Twitter as well, so you'll see the video and you can see the Substack. And so I put the Substack, I've entitled it Genspect, a clash of fundamental principles. Again, I'm writing from my perspective. I'm not telling you what to think, right? If I was telling you what to think, it would be a collective, not collaborative. I'm not telling you what to think, right? Okay, so it's just me saying what I think. So if you want to have a go, feel free. Sharpen your bloody nails, right? Let's get down to what I, the Jester, thinks, right? So we're going to begin. I've said here, the furore over the Genspect conference illustrates how collaborative over collective is effective. Them doing this is an extraordinary thing. So the release of the document, The Gender Framework by Stella O'Malley and the team over at Genspect is a significant and important development in the collaborative reality of anyone involved in the ongoing battle. Right? My thanks to them for the release of this document. Enabling what they must have known would be a partial evisceration and probably much condemnation from the various disparate groups and individuals. That's us, right? So they're sitting there going, right, we've got an idea. Here's 345 pages of it. I wouldn't have released it like that. Maybe that's another conversation to have. Right? Here's 345 pages of it. Right? We'll throw it out there and see what happens. And they've seen what happened. Right? So, great. The reaction has been mixed, as you would expect, but it's important to note that the document is a draft and that Genspect are open to and actively request feedback. That's why I'm doing this. Okay, we can feedback. Just to say, I've no interest in this blog in exploring AGP Gate. That will play out as it will, right? What I'm interested is in looking at the underpinnings that can be revealed in their position statement. So I'm taking a particular look at the position statement and saying, what do I think? What's coming out of my head? So the position statement is the following, and I will read it. We believe that there are many routes that may lead to the development of distress over an individual's gender. Equally, there are just as many routes out of such distress. We believe that gender and identity affect many people in different ways, and as such, we need to listen and incorporate ideas and opinions from a wide range of disciplines. This means that we value the individual within a societal context. We do not privilege one ideological position above another, although the authors of each section have the autonomy to present criticism of ideological positions in their submissions, right? This was a very open process, folks. We are informed by the latest knowledge in this field while acknowledging that we do not know what we do not know and that political conflicts have shaped the research and discourse in this area. Interesting. Okay, so that's their position statement, and that's all I'm interested in today out of the 345 pages. What? I'm only interested in that. So I have a number of problems with this position, and I put here, I'm going to outline them below, and I'm sure some kind soul will get it to Stella and the crew, right? So their first thing that I've got a problem with: we believe that gender and identity affect many people in different ways, and as such we need to listen and incorporate ideas and opinions from a wide range of disciplines. This concerns me greatly. Not least of which is the statement codifies gender as a real thing from outset and posits that many factors lead to development of distress over an individual's gender. I suggest the following. There is only one cause of a disconnect between the mind and body that presents in an individual, and that is exposure to the parasitic belief system itself, through one or multiple points of infection. In terms of removal of the parasite, there is only one way: education. All else is self-serving delusion, often sexual fetishism, and mental illness. With children, the first reaction is a safeguarding one that uncovers the point of parasitization and the cause, be that parent, school, or otherwise. This is the initial point of triage, especially for children, a no-holds-barred process of education that separates the gullible from the devoted and the mentally ill. This should be steeped in the principles of the Enlightenment, science, and classically liberal values that will underpin all work we do on this subject. Moral relativism degenerates those ideas, and we will not let that happen. We will not practice equity of opinion with fetishists, paraphiliacs, and the dangerously deluded followers of the critical social justice cult. Now, it occurs when I say that, right? Because I always do a cultural thing, that I sound like Father Merrin in the X. Do you remember Father Merrin, played by Max von Sydow, when he walks in, doesn't he? And the girl in the bedroom goes, "Merrin!" in that really deep voice. Do you remember that? "Merrin! Your mother sews socks in hell, Karras." All that stuff. So when he arrives, Father Karras, Damien Karras, says to him, "I think it might be helpful if I gave you some background on the different personalities Reagan has manifested. So far, I'd say there seem to be 3. She's convinced," at which point Merrin interjects and says, "There is only one." That's my interjection. There is only one cause. Exposure to the fetid belief system. That's the only cause. Your 5-year-old starts talking about his gender. It got that from somebody. So, I couldn't resist that cultural reference. If you want to see some of the stuff from the X, I'll put up the Substack, where he's explained to him, it is a demon, and it knows our thoughts. The attack is psychological. It's brilliant. Because as I say, to a person of faith, this is a demon. To a person of faith, this entire belief system is a demon. Next up, we have what they say. We believe that gender and identity affect many people in different ways. I see a clear point for discussion here. Unlike the Genspect proposed position, I think that gender and identity, which taken together is gender identity, or even separated out as individual ideas, is a clear capitulation to the argot of the unreal, being critical social justice, postmodernism, constructivism, and transgenderism, the parasitical pathogen that blights us all. So I will throw my equivalent statement up the flagpole, and let's see if any of you salute, right? I believe that an individual's personality and character can be fatally damaged by the concept of both gender and identity, falsehoods propagated by anti-reality and anti-science academic intrusion into the public sphere. The damage is all recognisable as one phenomena: adherence to a cult-like deluded belief system, be that for personal gain, societal inclusion, or reasons of mental incapacity. They then follow in this statement with, "This means that we value the individual within a social context. We do not privilege one ideological position above another, although the authors of each section have the autonomy to present criticism of ideological positions in their submissions. We are informed by the latest knowledge in this field while acknowledging that we do not know what we do not know and that political conflicts have shaped the research and discourse in this area." We need to have a talk around that, because that's just waffle. Sorry. Right? So in the words of Churchill, you can't reason with a tiger when your head is in its mouth. I suggest the following. We understand that this public discourse, by turns, ugly and beautiful, saddening and hilarious, rancorous and harmonious, is taking place in the sphere of culture, which is upstream of politics. It transcends simple notions of left and right, and as such sits firmly in the position of how we, in the West, define ourselves. That begins with a few simple ideas. Not least of all, we do not experiment on children, psychologically, emotionally, and mentally, for this is child abuse. And we do not expect people to tolerate others who practice their fetishes and paraphilias in the public sphere, for no consent to that has been given by those who are forced to tolerate it. Let's have a discussion about that. I hope genuinely that this document that has been produced by the many collaborating with Genspect, again, my thanks to them all, in amidst all this milieu, it's probably a good idea to say, well, you've had a go, and now we're going to start. Now the conversation starts. My thanks to them all. But if you want to know what I think we should do, I did a video called Reality Bites. I've included it in the Substack. If you want to watch the video called Reality Bites below, for one, I think the only way out of this is a public education campaign, the likes of which we've not seen since AIDS, and which will allow us to place this parasitic belief system in the correct context and garner public support to eradicating it. Then we can deal with the individuals who have caused so much harm to so many, especially children, whose early lives have been blighted by our tolerance of the willfully treacherous, the dangerously deluded, and wantonly sexual. Let's talk, folks. Let's talk. The kids deserve it.